Hi folks, Ken Ring, www.predictweather.com. It's the 18th of September and it's nice to be with you again after a bit of an absence. We've got some rough weather coming. Most of it should be south of Taupo in New Zealand here and on the west of the North Island, and it should pretty well be over in a spent force by the 22nd, which is next Wednesday. And the reason for all this rough weather, if you like, is because about a week ago the moon was the second closest to the earth for the whole year, and in 3 days time it's going to be about the fourth furthest away for the whole year. And so what that means is that it's come unusually closer and unusually further away in the month cycle that all the other orbits revolve around, the full moon, new moon cycle, and the declination cycle, the north-south changing hemisphere thing that the moon does. But also it has this thing where it comes closer and further away. And when it does come closer, well, there's all sorts of turbulence going on, but when it goes further away more than usual, so it's closer and then further away, then it's actually moving faster than usual relative to the motion of the Earth. So when it's doing that, when it's moving faster generally, it's causing more turbulence in all three elements. It's more turbulence in the air, so we get windy and wintry conditions, gale force winds, that we get turbulence in the sea, so faster currents and bigger swells and choppier waves, and we get turbulence in the land as well, because the tectonic plates are subject to the movement of the land is subject to the moon. Right inside the interior of the Earth there's a ball that is actually the size of the moon, and it's called the inner core, the molten core, and that has a tide to it as well, in which it bulges and it lessens again as the moon comes over, transits. And so at the same time as there are king tides in the water, there's king tides in the air, there's king tides in the land. And we get these earthquakes when the moon is doing extreme things like this. So all around the world over the last week there has been quite a bit of turbulent weather. There's been Hurricane Igor and a lot of smaller cyclones going on. There's been some really rough weather in Australia, but over the last week it's mainly been in the southern hemisphere, because the moon is coming up from the southernmost point, which was a couple of days ago. It's still in the southern hemisphere, so it's working its way north, and whenever it's leaving the southernmost point going north, it's dragging southerlies and real cold systems, and that's what it's doing at the moment for New Zealand. So that's just a short pot of history of the thing. The Waikato River had its highest tides around about the 11th, so that was about 6 days ago, but there's been so much rain feeding it from the water around falling onto the Waikato that the water just hasn't been able to get away. But it will start to go now. I think the system that is coming over us, I think it'll be about 3 or 4 days in the delivery, but I think round about next Wednesday of next week, that's the middle of next week, I think New Zealanders will be enjoying high pressure, calmer weather, and things will kind of slightly get back to normal. But then the high pressure is a bit of a risk for another round of earthquake shocks around Canterbury, and that might be just after the full moon, which will be on the 24th, so that's the next time for that. So it's not a good time. There's especially farmers who are worried about lambs, because there's a lot of snow coming in the hill country and the lower part of the South Island, because of the southerlies that are getting generated at the moment. And that's why all the severe weather warnings are out at the moment. But the one consolation is that the moon won't be this close again for a while. It's moving away, and so this is really the worst of the wintry weather for this country. So if that's a consolation, I hope it helps. Anyway, I hope to catch you next time we talk, hopefully tomorrow.